Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and today I'm here to discuss the concept of as above, so below, as within, so without. And what does it really mean with a concentration on astrology? Now, I have a considerable amount of notes here, so I'll be referring to my notes throughout this video. As above, so below, as within, so without, is a universal order set forth by the divine, the creator. As I mentioned in this video, we're going to focus on astrology because it is a perfect example of what it means, or what the concept of as above, so below, as within, so without means. Now, what is above? We're referring to the above. We've already set up the understanding that the divine, the creator, is the initiator. So above means that which is in the ethereal realm, the celestial realm. And so what does it mean when we say so below? Well, of course, that means the physical plane, this plane, the material world. As above, so below, including us humans. Now, I think the trickiest part of this concept is as within, so without. So I want to cover as within. As within refers to somewhat like the board I have here. The board I have here, the drawing on my board, is a poor depiction of a dream catcher. I'm going to explain what I mean by this is a image of a dream catcher, and how the dream catcher is the aspect of as within. Let's talk about the dream catcher. A dream catcher was or is something that is related mostly with the Native American culture. Throughout their culture, there were particular women that were responsible for caring for the children and making sure they stayed safe. But as humans began to migrate, the mothers, so to say, of the children could not keep in contact with them, close proximity. So they created the dream catcher, this weave or this web. And the purpose of this dream catcher was to catch the bad dreams of the children, and only the good dreams had enough reasoning or truth or integrity to make it through the web to the feathers and slide down into the children's dreams, which gave them only good dreams. Let me go a little deeper into the dream catcher. The dream catcher, as mentioned, is a web. How does that web relate to as within when it comes to us humans? Within us, we have like an internal dream catcher. And that eternal dream catcher isn't really physical. So that's why I use the dream catcher as an example. So just kind of try to ride the wave with me. Inside of us humans, there is a proverbial dream catcher. It catches all of the stuff. What is the stuff? Our emotional, um, oh, it's the emotions. It's how we feel about our experiences in life, the things that we witness, the things that we learn. How can I say this maybe a little more effectively? Throughout your life, you've had so many different experiences. You've seen so many different things. All of these things have affected or influenced you on an emotional level. Whether those influences have been good or bad. Good dreams, bad dreams. Now, the influence is caught or captured in the dream catcher, our internal self. That's not physical. It's more of a spiritual dream catcher, I'll say. And the reason why it's caught there, the influence, the feelings, the emotions about circumstances, situation, people, experiences, things that you witness, etc., is so that you can have the opportunity to filter or cipher or deal with those feelings. At the time that we humans are infiltrated or influenced by certain experiences, we are granted the opportunity to see to them. And ways that we see to um, things within ourselves, issues within ourselves, is to number one, confront it, come to understand what it is, why it happened. You might need to go to a psychiatrist or a therapist. You may need to talk to a friend. You may need to pray. You may need to meditate, whatever the case may be. That process is the dream catcher, in our case, the proverbial dream catcher, catching the bad dreams. Dreams. Let me talk about dreams for a minute. The 12th house in astrology, the house of Pisces, is also the house of dreams. What type of dreams is the 12th house talking about? The 12th house is not just talking about the dreams we have when we go to sleep. That's included too. It is the vision, that which is anticipated. It is the foreseen of what will be. I hope I'm making this make sense. Example, your life experiences, all that you have led you to feel a certain way because you've witnessed so many things, you've seen so many things. And again, some of those feelings or emotions are good dreams. Others are bad dreams. Focusing on the bad dreams, those bad dreams, with the dream catcher working, doing what it does, doing its job, catches those dreams, those bad experiences, or the experiences and the bad feelings, or the negative feelings, or the unhealthy feelings that one is inflicted with, and gives an individual time to address it or to heal, to be re-educated, so that it does not manifest into the physical world, things to come. dream catcher. This proverbial dream catcher within us all also, like the Native American dream catcher, allows the opportunity for good dreams, for sweet dreams, for things foreseen or anticipated to occur, to come into existence, into the real physical realm. Remember, the good energy, the dreams have the wisdom, they have the knowledge to be able to find their way into the person. What does it mean to find their way into the person? Find their way, which way? The dream, the good dreams, the good experiences, the good feelings, the healthy feelings, find their way into the lives of the people or the person. Because remember, the good dreams know how to bypass the web and slide down the feathers into the consciousness of the children. We are the children. We are the children of the divine, of the creator. Now, that we've talked about the dream catcher, the proverbial dream catcher within us all, that which is not really physical, but more of a spiritual dream catcher that allows us or permits us the opportunity to filter out the bad feelings, the unhealthy emotional state, so that it won't manifest into the physical realm, our worlds, creating our future experiences. That same dream catcher also offers us the ability to filter, to permit the filtration or the descent of good, sweet dreams, good experiences brought on by a healthy, healed, addressed emotional state, ultimately coming down into our consciousness and manifesting into the world, creating our future. Now that we know what the ass within is, based on our example of the dream catcher, let's talk about what it means. Oh, I got to kind of block, huh? It still doesn't show. As what it means to say so without. We dealt with as within. Now let's deal with so without. And we've already kind of touched on the so without as I discussed the the kind of like the parable or proverbial dream catcher. The so without talks about after the filtration happens or does not happen, and how we will eventually live out our conscious emotional state. If your conscious emotional state is an unhealthy emotional state, a negative emotional state, a traumatized emotional state, a bad dream, we will live it out, so without. But if our consciousness, our subconsciousness is has only to deal with the healthy feelings and emotions, meaning things have been handled, healed, and dealt with, then good dreams, good experiences, good future events come in play. So without. Now, that kind of took me a long time. It was like 14 minutes in. Just wanting to highlight or summarize what I just talked about. As above, so below. As below, above is referring to the divine, the creator, the celestial realm. Below, referring to this physical world, this material world, including us. As within is that proverbial dream catcher, the opportunity to deal with any issues, fears, poor or unhealthy emotions. with the intent of how can I say, with intent of um, just leaving the good dreams, or manifesting or creating future experiences from the sweet dreams, from the healthy emotional state. Because depending on which state you're in, depending on what state you manifest from, becomes your soul without. So now let's start talking about how so above, as above, so below is as within, so without. You using astrological energy. Okay, give me a minute. I'll be trying to work it out. I get so uptight, but okay. I'm going to let these couple of pages go and focus on the first house. And the first house is occupied by Aries. Now, the essence of Aries, remember, originated from somewhere. Where did it originate from? From above, from the Creator, from the divine. Descending from what? The ethereal realm, from the celestial heavens. As above, so below, as within, so without, is the order set forth by the divine, the Creator. The divine is, therefore, the divine, the Creator, creates. And under Aries, we are talking about the divine is fire. As the divine is the divine inspiration to all things. God, from here on, how would I use the term God, is the spark, the jolt, the original impulse, life. Now that's above. Remember, as above, so below. So what does that mean? The Aries, the essence of Aries, when it comes down from the divine. Well, in the physical realm, Aries manifests into the physical realm or materializes as your spirit, your soul, your existence, being, breathing. It represents the atom. This is the manifestation or the materialization of this divine order already set forth by God, the divine, the Creator, because God is these things. And as it descends, this is what it's transformed into in the physical realm. And so I back up and I highlight and I begin again that the essence of Aries manifests into this physical world as spirit, soul, existence, being, breathing, the atom, the nucleus, passion, stamina, vitality. It also represents being a pioneer. Remember, Aries is the first house. It's the initiator. God is the alpha. You know how I say the alpha and omega. He's the alpha. He's the beginning. A pioneer, a leader. So how does this play within? Remember, our central symbol of within is the dream catcher. Now, it depends on, again, if you allow your dream catcher, your proverbial dream catcher, to do his job and to store your emotional state so that you have time to deal with negative influences, the unhealthy state of your emotions or feelings that ultimately, of course, affect you psychologically. If you have successfully dealt with the fears, the wounds, the hurts, the disappointments, the unwanted enlightenment. So whatever you have experienced or witnessed in life, then Aries, as that energy manifests into this world, into this physical, it can take on without in a person as a pioneer, a very powerful leader, those kind of things. We all know, if we hear that Aries has already manifested as a soul and spirit within us all, giving us existence. This is the physical manifestation of the divine, of the creator, of God. Now, say hypothetically, a person hasn't been successful in dealing with a poor diet. I'll just use, because of the energy I'm going to point to, a poor diet, or just has some really bad habits that affects their body, their existence, their being. That influences the soul without. God has already said, hey, the essence of Aries is inspiration, the spark, the jolt, the original impulse life. It comes down into this physical world, and it has the potential to be so many different things. But what will it become depends on who you are from within. If you are a person that hasn't been able to address some of these issues, like I said, related to health, or just having very poor habits, when it pours out outside of you, it can be poor vitality or stamina, that kind of thing. But if a person has been active, tried to keep themselves up or work to keep themselves up, when it manifests into the world, that energy usually comes out to be more abundant. Now, I'm going to try to do better with the next energy of Taurus. It's not really a complicated subject, but sometimes just can't surf or ride the wave very well. But I ask you to go ahead and ride it with me. Now, remember, the concept we're talking about is the divine order set forth by God. Because God is, so God creates. We are talking about the concept of as above, so below, as within, so without. Now, the second house is occupied by Taurus. So now we're talking about the essence, excuse me, the essence of Taurus. The essence of Taurus as God, or above, in the ethereal realm, the celestial energy, the order set forth by the divine. Because what? The divine, the creator, is, is these things, or are these things. I use is because he's one being, the initial spark. Anywho, the divine is, so the divine creates under the as the essence. I'll say as the essence of Taurus. Stability, being visible or having visibility, phenomenal, positive charge, discernible, corporal, perception, perceivable, and truth. All these terms are God, if you're catching what I'm trying to share with you. These terms are God. And because God is these things, he, or God, creates these things. They descend from him, from the celestial realm, down into this dense dense physical world and manifest into such things for Taurus as earthly, worldly, fleshy, or fleshly, real, sensual, palpable, evidence, concrete, form, design, and authors. I hope you're keeping up with me. I'm going to try to move faster, but I got to make sure you understand what I'm saying. That God is, how can I say this? God is the 12 zodiac signs. God is probably not referred to as the 12 zodiac signs in the celestial realm. He is the energy of that 360-degree sphere. But as his energy, God's energy, freely rains down into this realm, into this low, dense, and low vibrational realm, it breaks down and is defined as the 12 astrological signs of the zodiac and manifesting in order to manifest into this world. And we live those energies out. Animation, life. As I mentioned, Taurus essence, while still with God, is stable, visible, phenomenal, positive, charged, discernible, corporal, perception, perceivable truth. After these energies leave God and descend down into this physical realm, so below, they have the potential, the essence of Taurus has the potential to manifest in this physical world as earthly, worldly, flesh or fleshly, real, sensual, palpable, evidence, concrete, form, design, author are just a few examples. Now, based on your internal proverbial dream catcher, determines what you bring into existence outwardly. Say a person has not resolved some issues and the dream catcher did not catch the bad dreams. That means that a person will bring out certain things like it could be like the sensual part of being human, being over indulged in sensual pleasures, getting caught up on drugs, drinking or eating too much, or whatever the case may be, overdoing it. But if a person has resolved or allowed that dream catcher to do its job and has addressed those bad dreams, then only allowing like sweet dreams to come through, good experiences, positive manifestations, then a person can manifest into this world things such as being a designer or an author. I'm not even going to go any further. I think I explained it. I want to move on. Y'all just ride the wave with me. Well, let's go on to Gemini. I'm going to try to move forward a little quicker. I want to highlight one more time, and then I'm just going to run through the energies as they exist above as God, and then how those same energies, the order set forth by God, because He comes down below, and how will actually manifest into one's physical world has to do with what is actually in us, the dream catcher space. And based on the filter, we'll call the dream catcher the filter. That filter, based on what those energies are filtered through, is what comes without us and creates our physical world and our physical experiences. So I think I said that better. So I can go ahead and just run through the signs because the time has moved on. Now, Gemini, above, ethereal, celestial, the order set forth by the divine. The divine is, the divine creates. Heavens, stratosphere, troposphere, ethereal, celestial, correspondence, expression, intelligence, and warmth. It descends down below with the potential for manifestation into the physical world. The materialization of the divine order in the physical world, in our world, can come as news, communications, cable, television, radio, travel, technology, information, sociability, and familiarity. I think I said that right. As within, so without. It depends on what your filter is, what God's energy is being filtered through an individual, through you, through me. It can come out as news, bad news, or good news, or the way a person delivers the news. Some people deliver news through gossip. Others deliver news very, when I say, sympathetically, different things like that. God's energy can filter through a person with technology, creation of technology, people using technology for bad or in a destructive way, where another may filter the materialization of technology in a positive, helpful way that can help humanity in some way like that. The next sign, of course, is Cancer. Cancer. Now we're dealing with above, the ethereal, the celestial realm, the order set forth by the divine. Remember, the divine is, and so the divine creates, begins to descend it down. But before the divine descends it down, we're talking about the essence of God himself. God is chaos, vibes, ecstasy, paradise, rapture, nirvana, thoughtless, organic, untouched, all-knowing. God being these terms or these energies creates, and it manifests into the physical realm as alertness, protection, safe, free, anger, desire, despair, love, affection, condensation, moon, the moon, waves, moods, digestion, vapors, fog, haze, liquor, rain, tears, and water. Which of these things will manifest into a person's individual life? Well, of course, we discussed it being based on their personal filter or their dream catcher. And for a person that has appropriately filtered those negative emotions, well, they can bring in a lot of love in their life. They can have a sense of just feeling safe no matter what they go through. A person may have the experience of feeling free, where a person that wasn't successful at filtering the negative feelings or emotions could manifest into their world a lot of tears. It's liquor here, alcoholism. They may um, be very moody or something like that. Moving forward, video's getting long. The next sign is Leo. Remember, we're dealing with above the ethereal celestial realm, uh, in which God is, and God is under Leo, the mind, power, the urge, movement, pressure, stimulus, observer, end, autogenous, a form, root spirit. Okay, now that we know that this is the God under the essence of Leo, what can it manifest into this world below? Well, it can manifest into this physical world below a person's character, burden, narcissistic, narcissism, the ability to be satisfied or to satisfy, do, appetite, longing, passion, drive, wishes, weaknesses. Guess what? Itch or itching, prejudices or prejudice, attachment, disposition, convictions, temperament, heart's desires, matter itself, matter, and deeds. Now, again, remember, it depends on what a person is filtering, how a person filters this. As it is above, descends below. It has to be filtered through the individual before it's pushed out into the world. If a person has successfully filtered out the negative emotional state, then a person can push out the ability to be satisfied, have experiences and be satisfied, or to even form attachments, or to fulfill one's heart's desires. However, if a person hasn't successfully been able to filter out those negative feelings and emotions and those type of things, a person can push out into the world. This is an interesting one. Itching. You ever seen somebody itching because they get nervous about something? That's a great example. But it also is about a person not being able to find any satisfaction or peace, or not to be able to obtain their heart's desires. Let's go ahead and go to Virgo. Again, Virgo, we're talking about the essence of Virgo as it is still God before breaking up into the individual signs. The essence of God. The essence of Virgo as God. So this is the above part. It represents truth, existence, absoluteness, purity, principle, unchangeableness, authority, able. Now remember, it comes down, it descends down into the physical. Possible manifestations that can be pushed out or experienced by a person from the essence of Virgo when it manifests to this world are specialists or experts, experienced, skilled, trained, courts, inspectors, wardens, test, investigators and investigating, study, dependability, faith, devotion, determination, validity, and facts. Of course, what ends up being pushed out of a person into the physical realm as their existence has to do with their filter. A positive filter, a positive filtration can bring out the ability to have faith and a healthy devotion. A person to be able to speak facts or identify facts, to become skilled or proficient in some field. But if a person hasn't successfully had that filtration experience, then a person can push out into the world the inability to state facts, a lack of integrity, inability to determine something. They can lack skill or even experience, those kind of things. Having a lot of court experiences, or the inability to be dependable. On to the next house, which is the seventh house of Libra. Remember, we're talking about the seventh house, what the Libra, essence of Libra, as it is God, before it leaves God and breaks down and starts that lower vibration, descending into this physical world and being defined as Libra experiences. So above God, the ethereal realm, the celestial realm, is polarity, charge, conclusions, order, sphere, contradiction, negativism, resistance, and war. Now, you know, those are all God. It's God. Those words or those experiences, terms, however you like to define them, are God. Now, when those particular energies begin to descend down and manifest into this physical world below, they manifest as combat, cons, defense, strife, violation, doubleness, biformity, dualism, court cases, payments, price, treaties. We're back to the filter, the internal filter of an individual. What will they push out into the world? Well, that is based on the state of their filter. If their filter was a successful filtration went on, a person can push out into this world, the ability to balance, draw treaties, make payments, those kind of things. But if the filtration process was not successful, and those bad dreams are pushed or spilled out into the world from an individual, it can manifest in this physical world, in this low vibrational place, as combat, cons, or con artist, of course, strife, and doubleness, in court cases and violations, etc., etc. As above, so below. As within, so without. We got about 15 minutes left, so I'm trying to run through them. We're on number 8. Scorpio, above, God, celestial. God is perplexity. Like literally the term or the essence or the meaning of the term. Why? That's a question. Why? It is also the root. God is also the root. Profound, unfathomable. I think I got that all right. Unmeasurable, infinite, boundless, eternal. God's essence descends down into this low vibrational world below, and it manifests into unending, buried, far, sunk, subterranean, yearning, submarines, excavation or excavators, bewilderment, knots, literally a knot. Isn't that interesting? Questions, puzzles, riddles, secrets, teasers, mysteries, problems, posers. You ever met a poser? A charade or charader. Oh, yeah, charade, occult, oracle, ruins. Not ruins, rooms. Okay, we know about the filter. If the filter is healthy, the filtration has occurred, a person can push out into the world, into their existence, possible experiences of the ability to like solve riddles or to identify posers. How about this? To be successful in the occult, be an oracle, be able to deal with the rooms, with, of course, with integrity, be able to, dive deep and pull up and excavate something, including emotions and others. But if a person does not have that filtration performed successfully, then they can deal with like it seems like unending experiences. They can't dig up that stuff in themselves, nor others, so they can't identify it, which could make them susceptible to be a poser or to not be able to identify a poser. Let's move on to the ninth house of Sagittarius. Remember, God is the essence of Sagittarius. He is, or God is the energy of chance, randomness, forethought, consciousness, knowing, fixed wisdom, and conception. Okay. Now, you know, the energy of God comes down. This God himself. See, I don't know if I said this. God himself, the divine. I say he loosely. But the divine, the creator, God, is these energies. Singular. I use is because it's plural. I mean singular. He is all of these things. And I talk so much I forget. Ride the wave with me. But as God basically shares himself with us, it becomes so many different energies that play out and become our physical world existence. Anyway, I was on Sagittarius, only got a few minutes. Let me keep going. I'm going to think about what I had to say, but this video is much longer than I had hoped. Anyway, so now, as the essence of Sagittarius, once it has descended down below into this low vibrational place, it can manifest in one of these types of experiences as systems, logic, thought, beliefs, reasons, values, attitudes, advice, consideration, framed, calculated, deliberate, intentional, knowledgeable, planned, volunteer, fortunate, casual, or odd. These are just a few examples. Now, we know that the filter determines what a person can experience. Appropriate filtration process can allow a person to have great logic and reasoning abilities, and to be able to like have foreknowledge or to plan in those kind of ways. But if the filtration system has not been successful, then a person can be susceptible to have these experiences or manifest these particular actions into their lives or their world. They may lack reason, the ability of, forethought, or lack of logic, or they become in line with things like what can I say it, coming to the beliefs, lining up with beliefs that aren't healthy, and they just can't see how a particular belief is not healthy nor correct or adequate. It's just the inability to like calculate or understand. Oh, I'm trying to rush y'all. We gonna get this in under an hour. Let's go ahead. Capricorn. The essence of Capricorn as God is to push, tremors, conceive, imagine, originate, flow, unmistakable, extend, eminence. When the essence of Capricorn's energy comes down from above, from the ethereal realm down here below into this physical dense world, it can manifest. It has the potential to manifest as projecting, glittery, gaudy, cheap, rugged, patterns, crystal clear, birth, dawn, buildings, coins, shape, shock, convulsions, opinions, prestige, and fame. Again, we're back to the filter. Positive filter can show the like this glittery kind of appearance, kind of, that draws attention. It can help you be sharp. Uh, I immediately start thinking about architecture and very successful architects. Negative filter can bring about or manifest as gaudiness in its plane or being opinionated in some way and cheap, those kind of things. We making it. We gonna make it. Let's go back to the celestial realm. God as the Aries, as the essence of Aquarius. Above in the ethereal realm, it is extinguish, reign, restriction, dominion, limitation, quantum. Now we're going to bring that down into this physical low vibrational realm, and it can manifest as interest, percentage, claims, help, government, regulation, direction, manipulation, ropes, audits, inquiries, checkup, reviews, repress, smother, choke, stagnant, asphyxiation, drowning, overcome, censor, conceal, crush, abolish, retard, and stop. These are just a few examples. We're right back to the filter, positive filtration. This energy can manifest into your life as a person that's able to gather a lot of interests on funds and things like that, or going to get a checkup, as far as before something gets out of hand, getting that checkup so you can get on it before it gets out of hand. Let's do the negative. If it can if the filtration system is not done effectively, then it can manifest into the ability to want to conceal stuff or something, or what else? They have the nature of smothering, possible drownings, things like that. Who we making it? We making it. The final sign is Pisces, of course. Pisces occupies the 12th house. Remember, the first thing we're dealing with is as above, God, his essence, what he, God, creator, the divine, is. And above, Pisces is continuation, endurance. It's cool. It's an image. It's emptiness. It's indivisibility. It is unpredictability. It is vision. Now bring out that energy or that part of the essence of God down into this low vibrational physical realm, and it can manifest into the ability to have harmony, integrity, identity, union, void. It covers cavity, vacuum, cope, repel, brave, cross, suffer, grit, patience, starch, tolerance, guts, survival, mobile, okay, variant, volatile, fluid, demon, devil, shadow, appearance. Now remember, it's all about the filter a person has. If the filter has been successfully cleared out the bad dreams, then when these energies, the energy of Pisces comes down into this low vibrational realm, it can result in harmony and peace in someone's life relative to whatever. It can represent a person having grit, And you know, that's the kind of like endurance. It got grit and this like state of bravery. Or it can represent, I thought mobile was interesting because it just shows that like the divine has a state of like technology or advancement focusing on mobile to me, like the mobile cell phones, those kind of things. And it's just able to tap into and gain that kind of knowledge or information. Now, if the filtration system was not successful and a person filters through those bad dreams, the negative aspect of the emotional state, it can result in, let's see, we can use this need to survive because it covers survival. It can talk about dealing with one's demons or having to suffer one's demons and devils and those kind of things. And ultimately, being volatile is also a part of that. Now, as I said, I've used up all the time, almost an hour. I thank you for riding the wave with me here at Can Angels Fly, as we discussed, as above, so below, as within, so without. God, the divine, the creator, is all things. And all that God, the creator, the divine is, comes down to this low vibrational place. And he gives us so many possible experiences through his ability or willingness to manifest into this world. It's based on who we are and where we are on the emotional level, even psychological. That filter, that dream catcher, which determines, or that determines, what we ultimately bring into existence or manifest into our worlds, into our reality. If you really think about it, the positive, the appropriate filtration, getting rid of the negative, bad dreams, or tending to the unhealthy emotional feelings, can bring God, as we, imagine Him, heaven, into our lives, or the ability to even cope with the difficulties or challenges in this world. But if a person's filter wasn't successful, a person wasn't able to deal or cope or get hope with those deep emotional wounds or fears or feelings, those bad dreams, then that filter, that type of filter, will push out or lead us, or it doesn't lead us because it's just doing what we want it to do. But it brings those bad dreams into existence. They materialize into this world. Also, same energy from God. So we bring into or manifest into this world the devil. I wonder if I made that make sense. All of it came from one divine place, the initial spark. And it came down, performing what it actually is, the essence of what it is. But it's through our own personal infiltration system what ends up manifesting into this physical world. Either we manifest the positive, like iconic energy of God as we imagine Him, loving and benevolent and kind, or we manifest the iconic energy of the devil as we imagine, dark, destructive, and tormenting. What I'm seeing is it is completely up to us, who we are and what this world will be. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly once again. Until next time, bye.